Hi, this is Lori Smith, and I'm here today with Alan Litwack, who is a former colleague of mine who I worked with for many, many years. And Alan is here today to talk a little bit about some of the work that we had done together in the past and how it relates to making a more efficient process from a department that has many moving parts, and also trying to maximize the return on investment of projects. So, Alan, thank you so much for joining me today, and I really appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome. Looking forward to it.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So I thought what we would do today is start out by talking a little bit about some of the work that we had done together in the past. So if you can you start by just kind of walking me through what your role was when we worked on this project together several years ago at Wyndham Worldwide? And you can even talk a little bit about what your role is right now, because you definitely work in a department that has many moving parts to it.
And so a few years ago, my role was responsible for the acquisitions and development side of our business, what we called pre-development. That had us out there in the market looking for acquisitions and partnering with our development team, the execution side of the business, to bring a resort from the front end all the way to the back end deliveries.
Okay, great. Yep. And actually, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the meeting. So Alan is our Senior Vice President of Strategic Development at Wyndham Destinations. So his responsibilities range everywhere from identifying a resort on the front end from a real estate perspective, all the way through to the design and construction procurement related to all of our timeshare resorts for Wyndham Destinations. Did I miss anything?
No, that's all.
That's good. Okay. So Alan, can you just talk a little bit about what was going on within the group and the reason that we decided to start a project and work together?
That at the time, we identified a few opportunities, I guess, to connect the groups a little bit tighter. Handoffs were being missed, and while it wasn't truly finger pointing, there were moments where, when push comes to shove, communication could have been stronger. So our processes were up for evaluation, just trying to get things tighter, constantly in a state of improvement. And that's kind of what led the groups to going into a review process, a Six Sigma exercise to streamline, identify where those gaps are, and try to close them.
Yeah. So this is where I kind of came into play. I had actually, at that point in time, just for our viewers, I had gone through Six Sigma training and was trying to identify a good project and place within the organization that needed help. And I was working at Wyndham as what I would call as an internal consultant in some sense of the word, to try and help this development team look at that process. So Alan, when we started working together, I guess my question to you would be, what do you feel like one of the biggest reasons that you decided to get someone, a third party perspective involved? While I was a part of the team, I kind of was an outside perspective. So what made you decide to have me get involved and start working on that project with you?
Well, I mean, first, it's always good to get a second opinion or a third opinion. Being in the group, which I had been for so long, you can get lost or so accustomed to what you've been doing, you can't bring a fresh perspective in. So it is the primary reason you were brought in, is to bring that unbiased look and evaluation, and not have any passion one way or another about things. You've always been objective, and so when you have two leaders involved running these two groups, again, it's always good to have a fresh perspective and someone that isn't biased towards one or the other. They're just looking to get to the right answer.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. So I heard you say earlier that the group was kind of struggling a bit with communication. There was some lack of clarity, I think, in some cases around roles and responsibilities. And just generally, the process had some opportunity for some efficiency. And maybe we ultimately ended up even determining that there were some revenue opportunities that were being missed. So when we started working together, what do you think the biggest benefit was, and what were the results that I was able to bring to the table by working through that project with the team?
The roles and responsibilities are key. Making sure that everyone knows what is expected of them and when, and what we came away with it, um, was a process map that had the different roles and responsibilities and the different time frames at which point people plug in. So that was, I guess, clarified when people were expected to participate on a project. That eliminates a lot of confusion and brings consistency to the process by which we went. And our projects could go multiple years when you think about when we're out in the market looking for a piece of real estate, through design and planning, all the way through to execution. So making sure everyone's on the same page throughout that lengthy process was one of the big takeaways. Just in addition to that, the efficiency which you can go through it should and did and has shrunk the delivery dates down, just because we're all now swimming and rowing in the same direction.
Mm-hmm. And then what about on the revenue side? I think we were able to identify some, we always look at things as finance people, which you and I both are, from both a revenue and an expense perspective. So on the revenue side, I think we were able to identify a couple of opportunities there as well. So we had the efficiencies, which drove some expense reduction, and quicker turnaround time. But I think with quicker turnaround time even comes an increase to revenues as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, time is money, but we saw our group providing services to other departments and other areas of business that weren't. There were opportunities to create more revenue for our department. We weren't maximizing them, and it just opened up a new area of business for us. That the infrastructure's there. It's just now we just maximized what we were doing for ourselves. So the efficiency to getting our projects done squeezed out time. Again, time is money. We found revenue opportunities, and oh, by the way, the redundancies in the group through better communication and handoff just created kind of synergies, if you will, for reduction within our department.
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about a lot is that I think it's really important to have a team that works together in harmony. I think that when you have so many different groups of people working together, what often happens is they're so focused on their one piece, they tend to forget about what comes before, what comes after, and what's happening at the same time that they're doing their work. Do you feel like through this project and through working with me that I had the ability to bring that balance and that harmony to the team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the one of the big advantages to bringing in someone. It's not, you're always in corporate trying to balance being the good cop and the bad cop. There is no cop in this. It's just we're all coming together to try to do what's right. But if I were to mandate this, it looks a little bit biased. But so having a third party come in without any opinions, just trying to find the answer, come to the right answer, has a downstream benefit that we're still seeing to this day.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. So kind of just to wrap this up, I guess I would just want to close with, working with me, what do you think the best results were that I was personally able to bring to the table? What is it about working with me that you feel is a positive or resulted in being an asset to this project and to your team?
I mean, first and foremost, you were driven to take on the project and kept it on track, kept people organized and in meetings and focused. This took place over a number of months,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not easy herding the cats over that period of time. So keeping people focused and on task and working towards a common goal was the one of the benefits. The benefit in getting the process mapped out and everyone on the same page is something, again, that I got a map. I could probably pull it out. It's over in the corner. I mean, I still reference it, and we still look at it all the time. So there is a lasting benefit to bringing you on. We're still generating the revenues that we identified, and the projects and the culture, that we've created because of this. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows their role. And hopefully you're still recording because I just got this message.
Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry. Anyway.
Okay, good. All right. So last thing, if hopefully there's going to be a lot of people watching this video. If you had to give them one thing to take away from our interview, what would that be?
That, you bring a wealth of knowledge, you're unbiased, you listen and take everything into consideration, but you are trying to get to the right answer that maximizes, the benefit for whoever the client is or whoever the company is.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alan. I know you have a busy schedule, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And for anyone watching, you can go onto my website, lauriesmithconsulting.com, and you can click over on the services page and see a little bit more about how I can bring some of these services to your organization. All right. Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.